Your podcasters were so preoccupied whether they could or not make a movie podcast that they never stopped to think if they should. Jurassic Park coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenet. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and that is neither Tommy or I. We have seen Jurassic Park a number of times.
Countless times, yeah.
Countless times is indeed the correct phrase. We would have thought our friend here joining the podcast, the man behind the infamous Haven't Seen It theme song, Mr. Ryan Davey, would have at least seen Jurassic Park once in his life, but no, never.
Only read the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, everyone was surprised, man. I read the book in high school English class. I saw Jurassic World, loved it, but never properly got around to watching the OG. Honestly, I was probably too scared or too busy watching Star Wars when I was that age, to watch it. But
Were you never
uh,
a big dinosaur kid?
no, I was definitely more of a sci-fi. Or this is a sci-fi movie though. I don't know. I was
Yeah.
I was a huge Star Wars fan. Wasn't a huge dino guy though. I don't know. Were you guys?
Somewhat. I mean, I think it was a rub off of my brother being a huge dinosaur guy. I remember he had a poster of Jurassic Park 2. We shared a room when I was a little kid. So when I was 3 years old, there was just like a huge poster of a T-Rex coming out of a fucking like of like the forest or something like that, like to attack somewhere of the jungle. And that poster scared the fuck out of me when I was 3 years old.
Yeah, I
But
was
I
just
still
gonna
saw
say.
Jurassic Park.
Nice. I feel like you got started on the horror and just like thrown into the deep end with stuff that scared you from the beginning, and that's why you're
Uh,
such a horror buff now.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the perk of being the youngest that you get exposed to shit that you probably shouldn't be watching when you're like 3 years old or 4 years
Yeah,
old.
my brother's the same way. Oh my God, like literally was obsessed with like Jason and Freddy and all that shit before I could even watch it, man. Like I still have a tough time with that stuff.
I feel like this needs to be explored more. Like, is younger brother the pinnacle of being like a giant horror nerd?
Yeah,
Like, come down to
exactly.
just you being the younger brother and your parents just having a little bit more laxed rules on what comes into the house.
I mean, I had very lax media rules in general. I started watching South Park when I was 3 years old, so I mean that explains a lot too. There, so
Explains your potty
combination.
mouth, Tommy.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck
Dude,
yeah.
I'm trying to be a Jamie from Joe Rogan right now, trying to see if there is a correlation to that on Google. I can't find anything yet, but like in my head, dude,
Yeah,
there's
that's
gotta
the head
be.
canon. That's the head canon right there.
There's
Jamie,
gotta
Jamie,
be.
go ahead, Google that. Yeah, can you Google that, Davey? Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
I just
Uh,
Googled younger siblings liking horror. I don't know. It's it's mostly just posts like my child likes horror movies. What should I do with him? Like, I
That
don't
was all
know.
about my
Tommy
mom.
turned out fine. Yeah, it was oh, Teresa Tevenet? No.
Yeah, Mrs. Stephanie.
well, thank you for joining us, Ryan. We appreciate you coming on and allowing us to discuss a movie that we would have probably have long covered already.
I
Um,
appreciate you guys having me, man. Like I listened to so many episodes of your podcast. I think probably all the movies that I've seen, except for like ones I've seen in the last like month, I've probably listened to the podcast. So I'm excited to be on and hell yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
so, as you would know, then as a longtime listener, first time caller, that
Hmm.
that we like to kick off the podcast, kind of discussing what movie, show, something you've watched recently that you wanted to maybe bring up.
Absolutely. Man, I've been on a little like 80s and 90s comedy nostalgia kick, man. Like I watched some John Hughes movies. I think I want to talk about Legally Blonde though, man. Like another first time watch for me.
Mm.
Although I knew it was a classic, I kind of got the desire to watch it just because of how prominent Jennifer Coolidge has been in memes lately. And I
Oh yeah,
realized I didn't know who the hell she was, man. Like
Stifler's
um
mom.
That's Stifler's mom,
that's
man.
true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think I watched that like I watched American Pie when I was like, I don't know, like 13 or something. I didn't know what an actress or actor was back then. I thought that was just her
You
mom,
just
you
saw
know.
boobs.
That's exactly right, dude. Exactly. Yeah. No, but honestly, Legally Blonde, great. Like, I don't know, such a fun one, you know? Like,
Mm.
you don't have to think too hard about it, but also at the same time, I do think that was another cool moment for like females in comedy, you know? Like,
Yeah.
just like how something like Bridesmaids was in like the early 2010s and stuff. Like, this was like a big one for the 90s, I think, you know? Like, even I would say it's ahead of its time for that reason alone, but probably other stuff as well.
Yeah, we covered that on the podcast. I don't think I've revisited it since, but I
Yeah.
remember loving it. I remember the dad with the martini, and he's in like literally two scenes, and he was like my favorite character just because he
He
just
was great.
like
Yeah.
it would have been whatever if it was just the one scene of him with a martini, but he was like at the graduation, like applauding with a
With the
martini.
martini.
And I was like,
Like it's attached to his hand almost. Yeah.
It was like a great like early breezy watch and like for a movie. I think it was like early 2000s or whatever, but it was just brought like great humor and stuff like that. That's pretty much aged well for the most part, I'd say. Some of those movies, like American Pie, you said hasn't aged well in some parts, but
Yeah.
Legally Blonde still you can watch that today and you won't get like I don't know, TikTok cancels that or something.
Yeah. Has TikTok tried to cancel American Pie?
I'm sure if they
They
have,
must
if
have.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they've
Well,
discovered it yet.
there's that whole scene of Shannon Elizabeth getting filmed or whatever. So or yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying they shouldn't cancel it. They probably should, but yeah, I was unaware if they'd
That was
actually
a
like.
Vice article I read. It was like Gen Zers react to 90s movies or something.
Oh shoot. Okay.
And most of them was like shitting on American Pie.
Damn.
Well, yeah, this is why
For
we
good
don't.
reason.
This is why we don't
Yeah.
click Vice articles, Tommy. Okay, we've had this conversation before. We
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
click random Vice articles that start with the headline Gen Z. So, Tommy, what movies have you watched this past week?
So I'll talk about one I saw a couple weeks ago, but we didn't get the chance to talk about it. I went to the theaters 2 weeks ago to go see a screening of Coraline, the Henry Selick stop motion animated movie. The first time I ever saw on the big screen, and God, I forgot how creepy that movie is. As someone that likes horror movies a lot, watching this movie, I was like, I'm actually kind of fucking terrified right now. The friend that we saw it with, Dallin, he hates horror movies, and I remember he told me at one point during the movie to be like, I hate you for bringing me to this. This is too scary. So, but it was such a great little watch, a great little creepy, like Henry Selick, Tim Burton energy right there, and really fun to see with a big crowd. I think people came out in droves for that, so it was really good to see on the big screen again.
Well, I've noticed now that it's been the big trend now. Like, I know for you and I, the inspiration of doing this was that they were re-releasing Jurassic Park in theaters, and knowing somebody that hadn't seen it before.
Helps.
But it seems like Hollywood's kind of realized like maybe we don't need to invest $500 million to remake this. We can just put it in theaters and make like $2 million.
Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, like Jurassic Park over the weekend, I think made about that, like 1 million or 2 million or something like that. But there's so many movies now that are just like untouchable. I mean, you could still play Jaws. I mean, we've seen Jaws countless times in theaters every night, and that still hits. That still plays perfectly. You know, you don't need a remake of the shit like that. I feel like, I mean, remakes these days, I feel like mostly should be just cheap movies that you give a shit about from like the 80s, like forgotten B movie. Be like, hey, let's just do that concept again. But Jurassic Park, I mean, like as long as Spielberg's alive, he's never gotten this movie remade.
Well, they did remake it. It's called
Yeah.
Jurassic World. What are you talking
That's
about?
a sequel. That's a sequel. That's different.
I guess.
That's a soft reboot is what that's called, Tommy. That is where you do it kind of differently, and it's something I want to talk about when we dive deeper into Jurassic Park, but like the sequels in general, because I think they're all different degrees of bad, and yeah, I'll leave that at that. I rewatched Wayne's World.
Nice.
It was on. I saw it, and
Nice.
I put it on. Like, that movie, like, underrated. I feel like everybody saw it in like middle school, high school, liked it, then put it in their like set it and forget it folder. Like, yeah, I saw Wayne's World. Movie's really funny. Like, Mike Myers had a really good run there of just like very unique, poignant humor. And I appreciate that about him. I've heard he's also not the kindest man in the world when you're working with him on set. But yeah, Wayne's World, like, I'd definitely recommend rewatching it because it still holds up. It's still very funny.
I've actually
Every
I've pitched a rewatch of that with like twice within the last month and stuff to Jazz. I got overruled, but I think I would see it from like a different perspective now that like
yeah,
I don't know, like we're both like we're all like 30 and stuff and like
yeah.
super into like music and movies and like they're kind of in that space too and like Wayne's World 1 towards the end and definitely a lot in Wayne's World 2 they're kind of just like oh my God like should I really be like so obsessed with all this stuff like in my life and I think that angle would like hit me in a different way and I'd probably like find a new angle to laugh at it too, you know?
Every time I watch this movie, I mean, you always laugh, especially like the whole pizza scene or like the corporate sponsorship. I mean, I just watch a clip, pull up that clip on YouTube all the time.
That scene's great though. The one that got me was Ed O'Neill is like in it briefly. He's like works at the deli, the hockey deli, and he just he's the only other one that speaks directly to the camera, and he's just like, yeah, you know, why is there nothing wrong when you kill a man in war? It's considered heroism, but when you kill a man from the fists of passion, it's called murder. And then they just go and they're like, whoa, 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 you're not allowed to talk to the camera. I was like, that is hilarious.
It's just so random and amazing.
Just very random that Ed O'Neill is like this low key like psychopath in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's time to talk about the movie that came out right before I was born. This is Jurassic Park.
On June 11th, dinosaurs and man, two species suddenly thrown back into the mix together.
Can I touch it?
Sure. How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect?
Universal Pictures presents a Steven Spielberg film, an adventure 65 million years in the making.
Look out! Go!
Jurassic Park, rated PG-13. Special premiere tomorrow night. Starts Friday everywhere.
So I'm going to call this for me the 10th viewing. I don't know however many viewings of Jurassic Park there have been in my life, but it's a high number. I know for Tommy and I, we both saw it in 3D in theaters, but I think most intriguing is for you, Ryan. You've never seen it before, and we were talking before we rolled, but you didn't really touch on your feelings at Jurassic Park. So I'd love to get your overall thoughts from your first viewing, just kind of like your general takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like I did love it. I went in, I would say, with slightly lower expectations than you may have or I don't know, than I should have. And a lot of the parts that I liked about the newer Jurassic Park, like Jurassic World, was like the actual CGI. It looked so futuristic, all that stuff. And I went in thinking that it was just going to kind of take me out of the world to see like a less advanced rendering of these creatures and stuff. But I think they did it super well. And even the times when the effects like didn't really like live up, I guess. It kind of reminded me of like Goosebumps style shit, which is my favorite. It just takes me back to that like 90s world of it. But as a movie, like that concept is still so wild to me. And I do think we're gonna do it soon. We're gonna bring back some damn dinosaurs. And
Yeah, it's apparently scientifically possible to plot this movie.
dude, I read a Popular Mechanics article that there has been around 60 million invested in order to bring back woolly mammoths to somehow combat climate change or something. But they're de-extincting a woolly mammoth by 2027 is what this company says they can do.
Do they like come with like a blizzard with them, like wherever they go? Like
They're going to be
how are they
reintroduced into Siberia. Like
reintroduced?
I mean,
Russia.
it probably would like just fucking help like world hunger because like those things are so goddamn massive.
I will.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
said something about like its migration patterns somehow affected it. I didn't really get super into the details with it, but
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, maybe these people should have watched Jurassic Park because one of the messages of this movie is like you're taking a creature from a prehistoric time and introducing it into a climate and atmosphere 65 million years later.
Yep.
Like it's not going to know what it is. It's going to be a very defensive creature. They didn't stop to think if they should. You just thought if you could.
Exactly. Right there. I want to touch upon like what you said earlier. I mean, like the special effects for this movie still play really well, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's definitely a version of this movie that like it could have easily just been like hokey or whatever. Spielberg's initial thought of this movie was going to be doing claymation, and like there's a video you can watch on YouTube, which is like they did a test of the Raptors scene where the Raptors are in the kitchen, like chasing out the kids. And instead of CGI, they did it with like claymation, and it looked a little bit cool, but it definitely just looked a little dated right there. And like if you saw that now, if you watch that now in like your 2023 lens, like first time watching, like, oh, this is some like stupid old movie. Was the way they did instead of CGI animatronics mix just works perfectly. And like I really can't see the seams in this movie in terms of special effects personally.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, like that was the one scene, and I even wrote this down. Like that's the one scene, the Raptors in the kitchen, that like the CGI kind of, I don't know, wasn't really holding up for me. You know, every other scene fucking rocked it, but that one was, I don't know, it was a little, they relied on it a little too much, I think maybe.
well, that's because they did such. It's the perfect line of blurring your effects, and then you won't know. And I think the famous T-Rex sequence, once it's finally revealed, is like the perfect encapsulation of blurring your effects, because you're mostly looking at the puppet.
Yeah.
When it's in a full body shot, it's gonna be the CG. And when it's a close up of its head, which is mostly that scene, is a lot of close ups of that puppet's head, that's practical, that's real. So then in those quick little moments, your eye's not really able to pick up what is there and what isn't there, and it just blurs that line together. And I just think, I mean, just to go on to that scene, now that I mentioned it, the way that the T-Rex is introduced with the wires snapping and then like the cold camera pan up from behind the car up as you just see its head as it eats the goat, and then like takes its steps up, and it, like the body just slowly reveals. Like it's just it's masterful. It is. And to your point on the claymation, like I don't think this movie has the cultural impact it still has today, nor do I think it maybe necessarily is the big box office hit it was at the time without the CG. Without, if they did it with claymation, like I think people would be like, this is kind of dated, looks old. It works, but it's kind of old.
Yeah, it's like I was a little hokey or whatever. But I mean, this is my first time really seeing this on the big screen, in terms of like a legit movie theater. Timmy and I have seen it on during a drive-in movie theater, don't feature Jaws. But seeing this in like surround sound, like movie theater sound, like the T-Rex scene especially, just the sound design right there of just like hearing the fucking like water shake, and just hearing like the fucking footsteps just like over and over and over again, and then that fucking like roar or growl is just so fucking powerful. And like, you know, I've seen this movie like fucking countless times, probably 20, 30 times, maybe more. Still fucking hit me in that new dimension of just hearing that fucking roar.
Dude, yeah, I think probably my favorite part of the whole movie was how much tension they built with the whole, like the water shaking. Like anytime the T-Rex would approach, you'd see something shaking. Like at first it was the cup of water, then it was the puddle, then the girl holding the jello just starts shaking, and then everyone just like, and you know shit's about to go down. Like I don't know, it's like the most brilliant way to like build tension there to me.
Yeah, it was just a great way of just building suspense and suspense where, like, you know, this movie for the most part, you know, while this is obviously the big dinosaur movie, the dinosaurs really only take up maybe like 11% of the whole movie in terms of like what you see, but they make the moments pay off as much as possible.
Oh yeah, it's a big payoff. And I think that first introduction of the dinosaurs when they're driving is so well done. Like you've seen that clip 100,000 times of Sam Neill taking the glasses off with like the most stunned face and grabbing Laura Dern's head and twisting it, and then the release of the Brontosaurus, like with that classic score underneath it with those strings. It's like it really is powerful how they pace and space them out, because it makes that impact better. And I feel like that's a detriment of the sequels, if we want to tie those into there together, is that like they're kind of everywhere and they lose their impact when you just see them for 50% of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. They just go like a little bit too heavy on special effects. I mean, I've seen the original trilogy and I've seen World, but I haven't seen any of the sequels for it. Apparently, the most recent one that came out last year apparently is a garbage from what I've heard.
Is it that recent? Damn.
Yeah.
I've
Well-
I've not seen any of the sequels either for either trilogy, to be fair.
You just said you saw World.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, I'm considering that the reboot. I saw World and I saw Park, but none of the next
Yeah,
two in those trilogies, you know?
I mean, like, you know, the best thing you could say about some of them is that, like, I remember World had a scene of like a woman just like getting like killed like to death, where like she got like eaten by one animal that ate another animal that ate another animal or something like that.
Killed to
Um,
Death sounds like a damn band that you should
Sounds
start
like a
right now.
it sounds like a metal band killed
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
death.
some random metal band.
Metal covers of the Jurassic Park theme song, stuff like that.
That would hit.
I'd be
that
all
would
for it.
hit.
I mean, but you hear that John Williams score, like when that scene you were just talking about to me, like earlier, with like "Welcome to Jurassic Park," goosebumps immediately. Like
Yeah.
anytime you hear that score, I mean, like you can. I feel like Ryan. I remember like us probably listened to like a slowed down version of it before, of like 4 hours long or something like that, where it's just like stretched out.
We listened to it. We listened to 4 hours long
I'm-
Jurassic Park theme song.
Well, I don't think we listened to the whole thing, but I think we did something like that.
Maybe that sounds familiar actually. Now that I think about it. No, but the score is so good. Like I don't know that like da-na-na, it's iconic, dude. Like
Yeah.
John Williams hits another home run as always.
Exactly. It's just like amazing. He can do no fucking wrong. I want to talk about ways this movie could have gone wrong. So we talked about claymation earlier, but like this movie essentially is based off the novel, which Ryan read 10 years ago and just decided never watched the movie. But you know, before this movie was before the novel was even like finished whatsoever, like Hollywood Studios, right? Okay, Michael Crichton's coming up with a new novel. We need to get a bidding war for this right now. We need to write stuff about dinosaurs. This is going to be a guaranteed hit. So Michael Crichton's agents pretty much circulated the book to 6 different studios, and they decided to pitch this movie. And the pitches were: Warner Brothers wanted Tim Burton to direct, Columbia wanted Richard Donner to direct, the director of Superman. 20th Century Fox was interested, and they wanted Joe Dante. And then Universal Pictures of Steven Spielberg, and apparently James Cameron was in the mix too. And thank God Steven Spielberg got it. A lot of these other takes would have been interesting. I mean, like the Tim Burton version probably would have been Jeff Goldblum would have been more of a goth, and I don't know, would have been weird right there.
I don't know about the Tim Burton version of it.
Yeah, that would have been like Richard Donner. I don't know, maybe a little bit too hokey. Joe Dante could have been a fun manic version of this. The James Cameron version, apparently he wanted to pitch, was going to be R-rated and going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Grant and
that could have been cool, to be fair. I don't know.
yeah.
It would have just been
version-
Arnold running around with a gun shooting dinosaurs. That's what that movie would have been.
Dude, I could
Yeah,
see
which
Arnold
I-
as Muldoon or something too. Like that would be lit.
I'd totally watch that movie. Like Bill Pax as Malcolm, Charlton Heston as Hammond. That would have worked, but I think we got the right director. I mean, like James Cameron himself even said, like, you know, if I got the movie, it wouldn't have made sense. Kids love dinosaurs. Would have been fair to the kids.
Yeah,
the Joe
that's actually,
Dante
like-
one's the interesting one to me there, because I think of him with Gremlins, Small Soldiers. It wouldn't have been the commercial hit that it was, and it might have spared us a lot of really bad sequels, but it
Mhm.
would have been interesting for sure. And I feel like he would have had his own. He's a very cynical director, I've noticed, in the tone of his movies, and I feel like that would have been very interesting to come out. It would have had a much more cynical tone to it, which I could definitely see from like these scientists visiting this island. And to transition that into John Hammond, where this is the time that I really like appreciated his his performance in this movie. And yeah, Richard Attenborough as John Hammond.
This is like his first acting role in 14 years. I mean, he's normally a director. I mean, he did Chaplin and like what Gandhi and stuff like that. And like he decided, like, all right, I'll come out for Spielberg.
Exclusively for Spielberg. I'll come back for this. He's the main antagonist of this movie. I feel like it's either him or Nedry, which is played by everybody's favorite neighbor, Newman. Wayne Knight.
Oh, he's amazing. I mean, like every time it's that movie, but Richard Attenborough in general, I mean, he brings a little bit of a heart. I mean, he is an antagonist, but Apparently in the novel he was more of a jerk, like a fucking like jackass. I don't know if you remember Ryan.
Yeah, no, I remember him being definitely more of an asshole and stuff. And like even like in the writing, they like, oh, he's like he's like, oh, people who watch sports are like the lowest dregs of society. And I was just like, damn, like they want us to hate him so bad. Like, but
Hammond's like
honestly,
some
in
pretentious sports ball.
oh yeah, I remember though, like, yeah, he was definitely an asshole in the books. And in the movie, I truly believe that this is a guy who just has this dream and he wants to make it happen. But like by the end of it, like when they're like, we decide to oppose you building this park, and he's like, yeah, obviously, so have I. You know, like he
Yeah.
realizes by the end this is not a good idea. And I truly believe that it's not him, and he never is the one trying to make money. Like the lawyer guy is like, oh, we need to open, we need to
Oh,
make the money,
stop.
you know?
Oh,
But
yeah.
what do you think? You
Oh, he
you
was
you
he
disagree,
was
Tim?
he was in it for the money. It was a dream, but he was in it for the money.
No, but when the lawyer brings up, he's like, yes, like people will pay whatever. And then Hammond is like, well, this isn't just for rich people. We want everyone to be able to experience this like amazing park and stuff. I don't know.
I'm
Like,
gonna frame this for you differently. Richard Attenborough as Hammond
yeah.
is a politician in October with an election in November. And now he has these three scientists here. And the lawyer, Guy Gennaro, is saying, like, we can charge whatever we want for this, blah, blah, blah. Well, he has to appease to these three scientists that are here that aren't really capitalists, so they don't want to talk about it. But you get the shot when his kids are lost in the park with Grant, and they cut to him eating the ice cream in the visitor center. Doesn't just cut to him, it cuts to the gift shop with all the little trinkets of the Jurassic Park logo slapped on it on a lunchbox, on a t-shirt, with stuffed action figures and everything else. Man was a capitalist at heart.
Okay.
You maybe disagree with that. Like I got it from that, and especially on this take, this viewing, I really noticed it. When they first go on the tour and the gates open, that's a boring part of the movie, and it's very intentionally boring because Hammond that's when he gets at his angriest. It's not when his grandkids get attacked by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. He gets his angriest when they're going on the tour and there are no dinosaurs out for them to see. That's when he's at his most upset because he wants to put on the show. It's a show. He's an illusionist. He's a wizard. And they have that great scene with him and Ellie where he talks about the illusion that he had, that the old show that he did. That's what it is, and he's somebody that does not understand the power of what he has created here, and making it into a theme park is like the epitome of that. Like if you wanted to just make a nature preserve, and if he was not a capitalist at heart looking to make money, it would have just been a nature preserve, and this would have been his passion project, and people would have just funded it for the scientific research of it.
I don't think it was all altruistic for him, but like I think that definitely a portion of him. I mean, like there's almost like a childlike wonder he has about this whole
thing. And that's Attenborough's performance, I think, is where that comes in. Like where you said in the book, he comes off a lot more asshole-ish. I think you could have casted a lot more actors, and Hammond comes off really snide, really
well.
Cruel.
They intentionally defanged him a little bit. Like in terms of like the screenplay and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's even like when all the power goes off and stuff, he's like, no, like I should go, like you should stay here and stuff. And like she's like, no, I'm going. Just like you think I can't because I'm a woman or whatever. Like I don't know. I think he's got some heart, regardless of.
I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just.
Okay.
I completely disagree with you saying that he wasn't in it for the money. He was absolutely in it for the money. He was a politician in October, lying to a crowd of people.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not okay. I'm not saying you're wrong on that. I think it was. I felt that I liked him by the end. I liked him in the end.
I love him. I think he's a great character. Yeah. I think he really brings an interesting dynamic, and I think. Compared to the other Jurassic Park movies, which I've seen 5 of the 6 of them, and most of them I've only seen once. Like the story is lacking in them, and the the themes behind them, because I would say this movie has a lot of themes about the power of nature and the power of creation that the other movies just are like, we're going to make a dumb dinosaur movie, and that's not really the case with the original Jurassic Park. And Hammond is kind of the key in that, because he is the godlike figure in terms of creating that atmosphere. Like, I mean, he's even breeding velociraptors, which are the most dangerous to have. Like when they hatch the little velociraptor, and you just see Grant's face turn when he's like, "Oh, we have raptors. Like, you have raptors on here, and you want people to see them, to view them."
Yeah.
Like he was somebody that was a man of his own convictions, but he's ultimately the person who shot himself in the foot in terms of even getting the park opening, because
Yeah.
one of the themes of it is what life finds a way. And they talked about how the creatures, they made them all female so they wouldn't be able to reproduce, and then they find the dinosaur eggs. I think there's a couple of ways you could interpret that. I interpret it as, you don't see that until the Barbasol can with the dinosaur enzymes gets lost in the woods, which was by Nedry, who was trying to sell them off because he had financial issues that Hammond would not help him with. A man with more money than God would not help him with.
In your defense, there is some subtext to this. I think this comes out more in the novel of like Dennis Nedry just being like getting apparently fucked over by Hammond over and over and over again. Or like Hammond caused him like lose clients and stuff like that apparently. And it's just how he says that, like, we spared no expense right here, but then like turns out maybe he's treating employees like shit and not paying them what they're worth or something.
Dude, moral of the story, pay your IT guy. And it reminded me of like the Matrix and shit, like we got a rat in the ship, like same type of story. Like, make sure your people are taken care of, or they're gonna fuck you over too. I thought that he'd be like a bigger part in the movie though, honestly. Like, he was probably, I don't
Newman
know.
or
Newman, dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wayne
Wayne
Knight.
Knight, dude. Wayne Knight. He wasn't
he
in
has
it for that long.
I mean, he has like some of the most memorable lines of this. I'm just like, no, you
Yeah,
can't.
that's true. That was great,
And the whole
honestly.
the meme that you see all the time now, just like, you see, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
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 But Dodgson, see, nobody cares. You're not going to get cheap on me now, Dodgson, are you?
And his death scene is amazing, where he's like, no wonder you're extinct, and immediately gets fucking like the goo in his eyes.
The poison right in his face. Yeah, and he's a total scene stealer, but he's ultimately the person responsible for everything going completely wrong, because he was there to decode the line. Nothing goes wrong, but he had clear motivation to be away from his desk. It wasn't some cheap like, I'm gonna go get a soda, and then he got locked out of the door, and he's just like sitting on the other side.
Fat guy got lost getting soda. What a shocker. I mean, he won that role because Steven Spielberg loved him in Basic Instinct. We covered that movie last year. Wayne Knight, what a 90s run right there. Basic Instinct, probably best scene in that movie too.
Well,
I've never seen it.
That has the infamous leg crossing scene, which, if you've never seen it, but you probably heard of Sharon Stone crossing her legs, or at least seen some variation of that. Yeah, Wayne knew that, like, she crosses her legs, and if I'm remembering it correctly, it literally cuts to Wayne Newman's face, like sweating like a dog.
But, Wayne Knight. So it cuts to like Sharon Stone's vagina to Wayne Knight's face, sweating as fuck. It's like, oh shit, you had to pause it so fucking clearly if you were a fucking teenage boy in the 90s.
All right, Tommy, we know what you did last week. Just, please leave it alone.
If by teenage boy you mean Tommy, and the 90s you mean last week, then yes.
It was in the 90s last week in the temperature, so I mean.
Oh yeah.
So it was nice and warm.
Tommy's getting sweaty like Newman in his seat there.
Oh my! Yeah, we don't
start dripping.
We don't do the visuals here, but he is sweating right now. He's giving me that glare of like, Tim, this might end the podcast right here. We might never do another episode again. But I'm glad we harped on Hammond's character here, because I'm on a completely different boat from both of you here. I think he's positioned that way really well, and I think they took a lot of the bark that's clearly in the novel away from him to make him more likable and warm, so that way you don't feel that way about him. But I felt like all of his underlying motions signaled that he was the exact same character that he probably was in the book. He just comes off a lot warmer. He comes off a lot more like Papa Bear.
That could be. I'm willing to contest you might be right on that, but I think, something that Tommy said, childlike wonder is still something that I think he possesses about these dinosaurs. Whether he is willing to kind of fuck people over for for attaining this childlike wonder and sharing it with people around the world, like that's possible. I'm willing to admit that's possible, but I still found him likable because of that still. I don't know. By the end.
He's very likable. I'm not even
Yeah.
disagreeing with that. I'm just saying the underlying motions there of him being like a true capitalist that's maybe a little bit cutthroat is like there. Like he gets.
I mean, to an extent, it's the charming facade of like every billionaire, like they have behind them, or of
You might be right.
Yeah, I mean, the more we're talking about it, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I do think that there is at least a little bit of innocence to him. I don't obviously money is probably the driving factor, but it's not all money for him. I don't think so.
No, and I don't think the project gets its wheels off the ground if there wasn't that childlike wonder of the dinosaurs. I feel like that wasn't necessarily like covered in there, because like the one moment we get any background into his character, it's to do with his other business project that was a success, but kind of labeled him as like a hokey salesman. And I was like, that's what he is. He's a hokey salesman. He's somebody at the turn of the century going by cart to cart selling elixirs. Like that's what he is.
I mean, like, we're gonna like get the ire of all the Elon fans, but this is, you can see the parallels between Elon saying we're going to Mars.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking the exact same thing when you're talking about that. And I do consider myself still a bit of an Elon fan. I think he's lost his way in the last couple of years, but overall, I'm still a fan of his. He's gonna beat up Zuckerberg in the Coliseum for
not.
damn sure.
No,
No, they called it off. I'm joking.
Yeah.
They called it
He's
off.
only whipped out on it.
Listen, Zuckerberg is like he's on some sort of spectrum, whatever you want to define it as. And somebody
So is
like
Elon,
that,
though.
different side, but the different obsessions. Like Zuckerberg's been like practicing jujitsu for years, and Elon Musk has like 50 pounds of fat on him. That's like the only way he could win is if he sits on him.
Fair enough.
That's how it went.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. That's
Let's see
another
if it
one. I
plays
just
off.
watched that like a week ago or less.
Oh, what a fantastic film. What an absolutely fantastic film.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
So this is the Richard Attenborough memorial list of everybody else in the movie that we can discuss, considering we just discussed Hammond for a good 15 minutes. I feel like it almost goes without saying Jeff Goldblum, but I'm curious what your guys' thoughts of Ian Malcolm.
I mean, Ian Malcolm, him with his shirt open, Jeff Goldblum, right there. But anyways, fucking Sam Neill, great in this movie. I mean, like, he gives, I think, one of the best character arcs of this whole movie. I mean, he'd probably be the protagonist if anyone is. I mean, the fact that he gets over,
he definitely is.
Yeah, he gets over like the hatred of kids and stuff like that, and his performance is just really great. And just like the monologues he has, like the opening scene of him intimidating that kid that thinks that dinosaurs aren't shit.
It's such a good scene. It's such a good character introduction scene. Like, we learn something that's going to come into play later, and we're also learning something about the character. It's funny when you watch a movie when you see those things happen. I was like literally about to bring up that scene there. Yeah, he kind of has the prototypical hero's arc, if you will, in this kind of story.
And he was perfectly cast. There was chances that Harrison Ford was going to be in this role.
I could see Harrison Ford.
I was just gonna say, dude, I feel like the only one who could have played it better was Harrison Ford, man. I didn't know he was even in talks, but that would be sick.
it would have been good, but like, at the time this would have become a Harrison Ford movie rather than like a movie about dinosaurs. Sam Neill, while like, he's not a household name the way that Harrison Ford is, or even like Tim Robbins at the time, probably.
I wouldn't even maybe consider Tim Robbins like.
Yeah, you're right. Harrison Ford definitely.
Harrison Ford's like your true A-lister, and that turns into a Harrison Ford movie when he's in it.
Same thing we were talking about Schwarzenegger earlier. That would have just been a Schwarzenegger movie.
It would have been a Schwarzenegger movie. It's the same thing with like how we were talking about with Sorcerer with what's his name? The guy from Jaws.
Richard Dreyfuss or
Richard Dreyfuss, yeah, where we were no, not Richard Dreyfuss, who's the guy who plays Richard Dreyfuss, right? He was in Sorcerer, yeah. Where Friedkin said basically like he's a great actor, but he doesn't have the juice to carry a movie on his own in the mass public. Like he's just not that kind of guy. And Sam Neill's kind of in that same vein where you're always going to get a top tier performance from him, but he just doesn't have that A-list like juice to him of just.
And I think it worked better for the movie because
definitely, it definitely does.
Yeah, because the marketing of this movie, I mean, like, which was an insane by the time period standards of like marketing, where they had so many fucking tie-ins, and the marketing apparently costs more than the actual movie, which is insane. But it was all about the dinosaurs.
Well, it's funny. Like a year later, the biggest movie star in this movie is Samuel L. Jackson, like who's like the 8th build character in the movie.
Very brief.
Ryan, who would you say was your favorite performance sans Richard Hammond?
I would say it's got to be Jeff, honestly. Like there was some scene stealing moments by other actors for sure. And Sam Neill obviously was the probably only one with like a proper like character arc, you know? But yeah, Jeff Goldblum, like even like in one of the first scenes, they said something to the effect of like, we wanted a scientist, you brought us a rock star. And he literally like lives up to that. Like every scene, it's just, I don't know, like he's so magnetic and I want to hang out with that black dude, man. Yeah, dude, he's sick. And he like sacrifices himself like but still manages to be in the rest of the movie. I don't know, like it's got to be Jeff for me, you know?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard in the novel that he dies in the novel. Spoilers for the novel.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
But I mean, if that was the case, I mean, like, thank God they didn't, because like, what a character. I mean, like, after the sequels sucked, you could see why the sequels took on Jeff Goldblum as like the main character for this the direct sequel after this.
Yeah. Tommy, did you say your star?
I as much as I talk about Sam Neill here, I think Jeff Goldblum. I mean, he has the most memorable lines of anyone. You know.
Well, I'm gonna say Sam Neill because I've always been a Sam Neill guy. Never been the biggest Jeff Goldblum guy in this movie. Like it works for the character. I just like Sam Neill's character more. I just like that archaeologist vibe. Like I was like, maybe I'll be him for Halloween this year.
That could be a move for sure.
Could be a move.
Ah, are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
I think the real reason behind that is I do want to get a cowboy hat, but I have no justification or reason to purchase one. So I feel like being Sam Neill in Jurassic Park for Halloween is like the only real reason I could ever consider actually making that purchase. So that's pretty much the driving factor behind it.
Man.
That's how every guy gets their first fedora, because they want to be Indiana Jones.
Dude, but you've been living in Nashville for what, nearly a year now, right? Like 10 months, 8 months,
something like that.
You're going full Nashville.
Dude, I mean, yo, like I'm surprised you don't have a cowboy hat yet. I think that's the last step to making you a naturalized citizen or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my citizenship test.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a cowboy hat?
Do I have a cowboy hat? No, but in terms of cowboy hats, imagine a bunch of Muppets wearing cowboy hats running around Jurassic Park. What do we think? Do we think it works?
I think you keep the human cast the same, and you just make the dinosaurs Muppets, and it's not even just like the scary Muppets. It's just like Animal is like the T-Rex or something like that, and Fozzie's like the Velociraptor or something.
Well, that would be Big Bird would be the T-Rex.
Dude, now that I just thought of this now, like I'm finally on this show and I get to say I'm offended personally that on a previous episode you said that Sweetums wasn't one of the most magnetic Muppets. Sweetums, the giant guy with the hair and the huge nose, like he's awesome. He's such a good I think he's actually a good guy, but they think he's a villain in some of them because he's just very intimidating. Sweetums rocks.
I mean, Sweetums does rock. He's great. I mean, I'm really watching right now. I pulled up as we were talking, They made a Sesame Street Jurassic Park fucking like parody, and it's
No
like
way.
Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster is like the thing.
Oh my God, dude. That's awesome.
That's great.
I mean, I think we're
Yeah.
all in agreement. This definitely works as a Muppet adaptation really well.
Yeah.
I
I
like,
mean, you just make the cheesy special effects just straight up Muppets.
yeah.
Well,
I think Muldoon would be a good Muppet too, you know?
Muldoon also just low key underrated. Like he's got like 5 minutes of screen time and he kills it the
Yeah,
entire time he's on there. And his last
Clever
line,
girl. Like, dude, so
Clever.
But
good.
yeah, what a great death line.
ultimate death line. All right, so Ryan, you know the drill here. Give us your review out of 5 on Jurassic Park.
Okay. Knee-jerk reaction, I'm gonna say it's a 3.5. I did really like watching it. It wasn't something that I'm probably gonna go rewatch as many times as you guys have. But yeah, no, I liked it a lot. And also a lot more than I thought I would. So I would say it's banging, but yeah, I guess wasn't anything that I'm gonna probably talk about or think about all that hard compared to some of my faves.
Ouch. Ouch.
Wow.
Might
Yeah.
as well give it a 1 out of 5. Jesus. All right,
Yeah.
Tommy, your score.
5 out of 5. This movie's been sticking with me since like childhood.
Fair.
Every time I see it in the theaters, it hits just as well, and like it's something that like I can see this movie endless amount of times and be totally fine with it. I mean, it's a total cable movie too. I mean, like I remember last year I watched just like the first half of this, and I was like, cool, I'm in. I got my fix right here. So great performances, great special effects, and great like mix of comedy and like horror and like adventure and stuff like that. Spielberg just knocked out of the park here. 5 out of 5.
I'm also gonna go 5 out of 5 because I just think there's a layer to this movie beyond being like a horror sci-fi dinosaur movie. Thinking of and I think the movie primarily focuses on the creation of somebody actually doing this, and like do you understand what you've done aspect to it, which is basically what unfolds from there, from that conversation. But it's an instant classic. There's a reason there's 5 sequels that share its name, none of them anywhere near as good, but people still go in droves because they love this movie, they connect to it. An unreal score, terrific performances, groundbreaking special effects, one of the all-time movies of all time, without a question.
Man, I can't believe I gave a lower score than Tim. I feel like Tim's the big critic on this podcast
Yeah.
usually. Shit.
I'm usually the softie.
I know.
Tommy is the softie out of us, but like you knew going in what I was probably going to give Jurassic Park, so we'll have to have you back on another week. We appreciate you coming on, Ryan. It's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, dudes. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and just let me know when we could do this again, man.
Of course. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything last minute?
Yeah, I'll do a little plug. All right. Curse of Tongues, my DJ name. We got a single coming out September 22nd on Noise Porn Records. It's gonna be wild. No porn, but just beautiful noise,
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
The screening I went to was awful. Where there's some like fucking like 5 kids that kept on coming in and out of the theater, and like maybe we were in the theater
All right,
for like
Alan.
10 minutes.
All right, Alan Grant, please.
Yeah.
Keep
But anyways,
it
kids
down.
suck. Kids suck. Fuck it. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on social media at CNETPod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also Threads. I'm still gonna bring that up, Timmy. I know it's dead, but still gonna bring it up. Bring up those threads. We'll see what Elon and Musk, Elon and fucking Zuckerberg go to. But anyways, also leave us a 5-star review. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, really helps out the show. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll figure out our September schedule and see you next time.